Okay, now I'm going to read from the Hoopaholic rules, which are available as a file on our Facebook group. So go to our Hoopaholics Facebook group and look in the files. You will see HUK rules for 2024. There are possibly some updates coming. We haven't made any major changes this year, but there may be one or two that have come up because of issues. So, equipment specifications. Now, these are things which have been adopted across the board. Doesn't matter what you, who has invited you to judge. These are the things which hopefully has now been adopted across the board by anybody that's running a hooper show. A baseless hoop made of light material, damage resistant, no sharp edges. They can be made out of aluminium, provided there are no sharp edges. And there are some very nice aluminium hoops out there being made. They are a little bit more expensive, but they have nice curved feet, which allows really good balance. So, but this is what they should be. The colour of the lower half of the hoop must be clearly visible to the dog. Okay, well, that's easy, that's obvious. The height at the top of the hoop should be minimum 91 centimetres, maximum 105 centimetres. Now, that means that basically, I think in metric terms, that's up to 1 metre high at the arch. Why? Because then the baseless hoop has a nice, safe arch shape, which keeps it far more stable. Also, it then allows for absolutely every size of dog. The base of the hoop should be 86 to 91.5 metres wide. So we're talking, I'm not too certain what it is in metres. I think it's 36 inches wide. So I keep going from metric to imperials, it's, my age. Okay. And the support feet should not be in the dog's way, obviously. But they should be stable enough to, obviously keep the hoop upright, preferably without being pegged. Yes, there may well be needs of, there may be needs in our windy weather, but I have seen the baseless hoops stand up very, very well to windy weather. And to be honest, if you peg in your hoops and a dog does hit it, it means that you're back to this thing of a dog potentially injuring itself. So, okay. If using baseless hoops, ensure they have the design which will stand up if knocked or move if the dog makes the contact on the arms. And yes, so that means that sometimes the feet might be adjustable, and so if the dog knocks it, it will make the foot turn, and then it will possibly, might keep it upright, might actually turn it over. Dogs still knock baseless hoops. Don't think, baseless hoops stops the dog. Dogs will still knock baseless hoops if they have, if they've turned a little bit too tight because of a bad command from their handler. So, again, that's where you come into thinking about the line of the dog perhaps as well. Barrels. We have Barrels should be made of mesh, cloth, plastic or metal. They should be rounded, obviously. Diameter, that is across the side, across it, 45 centimetres to 59 centimetres. So there is a little bit of a leeway here. And height, 70 to 95 centimetres. Again, this is so that the tallest dogs will still have their heads probably lower than the top of the barrel. Barrels may need to be weighed in bad weather for safety, weighed or pegged. The colour of the barrel must be clearly visible and contrast to a dog with its surroundings. There are some new barrels out which are inflatable barrels. They cost a lot more than the pop-up barrels which are currently popular. I don't know how long they would last, but they do seem to be very stable because they have a weight at the top that holds them steady once they're inflated. So yeah, they're pretty good. They're about, I think they're about €90 each, if you're interested. So here's a picture of the red, white and blue barrel is a collapsible barrel, is the popular ones. And then you've got the blue bin barrels there, which are sort of like waste barrels, which people have got. Now, when you're putting up shows and things, it might help to know how many barrels you've got for your courses. Gates. This is something which has just come into some people. HUK have recently had this in. We can use them in any class. They are also made, but they're made so that they are sort of like in a square, okay, or a slight rectangle, if you can see there. Now those are of aluminium, I believe, frame and feet with a wire mesh, light mesh screen. And as you can see, it's sort of these squared mesh types. You may find it at garden centres. This then allows the dog to see the handler and keep the dog in vision. Keep the handler in vision as they're running past them. And we will go into the use of them later. They again are very similar to the hoops. They should be 90 to 110 centimetres high, so just a tad, about the same height as a hoop. The width is 100 centimetres to 130 centimetres, so it is slightly wider than a hoop. Tunnels. Again, we used to start with based tunnels, the rounded tunnels at 80 centimetres. These are now becoming, changing because of the realisation the baseless style of tunnel allows the dog to run far smoother, and especially this affects the smaller dogs. Okay, they found that the short 1 metre tunnels with the rigid bottoms, you'd often see the dogs jumping through them. Now the new baseless tunnels, which you can acquire, they come in 1 metre lengths. They are 80 centimetres high, and as you can see from that picture there, okay, there's no bottom at all. There's not even a bar across the bottom for the dog, and these are held down by sandbags either across the top but we also use sandbags across, lined across the feet of it, so across the bottom edge. And again, I have found that these are really, really stable, unless it is very, very windy weather. So there is no what, they are very well made equipment. So that's the equipment that HUK uses: hoops, barrels, gates, tunnels. We are in the process of phasing out the based hoops on our rules. Most people are now using the baseless ones. But always check with the people who have asked you to judge for the list of equipment that they will be using.